There are those who believe that luck is random, that wealth is the privilege of a few, and that abundance is dictated by chance. But I tell you, nothing is left to chance. Your reality bends to your assumptions, and your words hold the power to command the unseen into existence. I once believed, as many do, that wealth was something to chase, something to work tirelessly for. But then I discovered a truth so profound it shattered every limitation I had ever known. I won the lottery not once, not twice, but 8 times. By repeating 3 simple words. These were not ordinary words spoken without thought. No, these words became my law, my truth, my unwavering reality. I did not beg, I did not plead. I declared. And as I declared, the universe conspired in my favor. The first time I said these words, I felt a shift within me. It was as if the veil of doubt was lifted, and in its place certainty was born. With each repetition, I moved deeper into the state of already having, already possessing. And then it happened. The numbers aligned, the impossible became possible, and wealth found me, not by struggle, but by assumption. The world will tell you to work harder, to calculate, to strategize. But what they fail to understand is that your assumptions override every external circumstance. You do not attract wealth by wishing, you command it by knowing. When I spoke these words, I did not hope. I assumed. I did not wish. I embodied. And the words, it is done. With these 3 words, I released doubt. With these 3 words, I assumed the feeling of already possessing. And with these 3 words, the unseen took form. This is not about luck, this is about law. The law that what you assume as true must harden into fact. You do not need to chase wealth. Speak as if it is already yours. Feel it. Live it. And the world will have no choice but to conform. I won the lottery 8 times, not because I was lucky, but because I knew it is done. Words are not just sounds that pass through the air and vanish into silence. They are vibrations, frequencies, and forces that carry within them the essence of creation itself. When you speak, you do not merely express thoughts, you mold reality. You send forth energy that shapes the world around you, whether you are aware of it or not. Every word uttered carries intention, and every intention carries the power to manifest into tangible form. This is why those who understand the power of spoken words use them with purpose, precision, and absolute conviction. Consider for a moment the way the world responds to words. A kind word can uplift a soul weighed down by despair, while a harsh word can wound a heart beyond repair. A simple statement of encouragement can inspire greatness, while words of doubt can cripple ambition before it even begins. If words can influence emotions, can they not also shape the physical world? Indeed they can, for the world you see is nothing more than a reflection of the unseen forces at work within you, your beliefs, your assumptions, and the words you speak, both in thought and aloud. Throughout history, those who have unlocked the mysteries of creation have understood the power of speech. The great teachers, sages, and prophets did not perform miracles through effort alone. They spoke, and it was so. They declared, and reality shifted to accommodate their words. The ancient texts speak of a force that brought the universe into being, a force that was spoken into existence. This is not a metaphor. It is the fundamental truth of creation. Words are the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between thought and reality. But for words to manifest powerfully, they must be spoken with conviction. Half-hearted affirmations do little, for they carry within them the seed of doubt. When you say, "I am wealthy," but within you lingers the belief that you are not, your words become empty, powerless. The universe does not respond to mere sound. It responds to certainty. It responds to the energy behind the words. This is why those who command reality speak as though their desire is already fulfilled. They do not ask, they do not hope, they declare. To speak with conviction is to assume the authority that is already yours. It is to recognize that you are not separate from creation, but one with it. The words you speak are not just expressions of thought. They are instructions given to the unseen forces that govern all things. When you declare something is true, when you assume it with unwavering certainty, you set into motion the mechanisms by which reality must conform. Consider those who have achieved great things against all odds. More often than not, they spoke their success into existence long before the world saw evidence of it. They did not wait for proof before believing. They believed first, and proof followed. This is the secret that so many fail to grasp. Most people wait for circumstances to change before they change their speech. They wait to see improvement before they dare to declare that they are abundant, healthy, successful, loved. But this is the reverse of true creation. You do not speak because you see because you speak. This is why the words you use daily matter more than you realize. Every complaint, every statement of lack, every idle word spoken without awareness contributes to the reality you experience. If you constantly say, "Nothing ever works out for me," then the universe, being obedient to your command, ensures that nothing does. If you habitually declare, "I am always struggling," then struggle becomes the law of your life. But the moment you shift your words, you shift your reality. When you begin to speak from a place of abundance, when you declare that all things are working in your favor, when you affirm that you are powerful beyond measure, the world will shape itself to reflect this truth. The key is to speak as if your desire is already fulfilled. To say, "I am," rather than "I will be." To say, "It is done," rather than "I hope it happens." When you affirm something as a future possibility, you keep it at a distance, always just beyond reach. But when you declare it as a present reality, you bring it into existence now. The subconscious mind, which governs the unfolding of your experiences, does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only knows what you consistently impress upon it. Speak as though it is already so, and your subconscious will accept it as truth, setting into motion the chain of events that will bring it into being. To speak with conviction requires practice, for the mind has been conditioned to doubt, to question, to seek external validation. But the more you declare your truth with certainty, the stronger your belief becomes. And belief is the force that moves mountains. The world does not change first, you do. And as you change, as you speak differently, as you assume differently, the world mirrors your inner transformation. Some may dismiss this as mere positive thinking, but it is far more than that. Positive thinking is wishful. Powerful speech is directive. It is not about hoping for better. It is about commanding better. It is about understanding that your words are the architects of your destiny. Speak as one who knows. Speak as one who has already received. Let your words be filled with power, not hesitation. Declare your wealth, your health, your success, your love, your joy, not as something you seek, but as something you already possess. And as you do, the world will shape itself in perfect harmony with your spoken word. What you assume to be true, whether seen or unseen, whether reasonable or unreasonable, whether logical or illogical, becomes the reality you experience. The world you see, the life you live, and the circumstances you encounter are all reflections of the assumptions you hold in your mind. There is no exception to this law. It operates with absolute certainty, molding reality in accordance with the state you persistently occupy. Most people believe that their circumstances dictate their assumptions. They look at their bank accounts and assume they are poor. They experience loneliness and assume they are unloved. They encounter obstacles and assume they are unlucky. But this is a misunderstanding of how reality works. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. What you assume within is what projects outward. It is not your experiences that shape your assumptions. It is your assumptions that shape your experiences. Everything in your life right now is a direct result of what you have been assuming, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you believe that you must struggle for success, struggle will always be your companion. If you believe that money is hard to come by, you will constantly find yourself in situations where money seems scarce. If you assume that you are not good enough, the world will reflect back to you circumstances that confirm this belief. But the moment you change your assumption, everything shifts. When you assume something is true, you are not merely hoping or wishing for it, you are living from it. You accept it as a fact, even if the physical world has not yet caught up. You speak as though it is already so, you think as though it is already so, and most importantly, you feel as though it is already so. This feeling, this knowing, is what impresses the subconscious mind, and once impressed, it must externalize itself in the world of form. The mind cannot hold two opposing beliefs at the same time. If you assume wealth, you cannot simultaneously assume lack. If you assume health, you cannot also assume illness. This is why it is not enough to simply affirm what you want while still internally holding the assumption that you do not have it. The assumption must be absolute, unwavering, and felt deeply. It must become your natural state, the place from which you think, speak, and act. Many people try to change their external reality while still holding on to the same internal assumptions, and then they wonder why nothing changes. They apply effort in the physical world while still believing in limitation within. They try to force success while assuming failure. But assumption does not work through force, it works through conviction. The moment you assume something completely, you no longer need to force it into being. Reality must bend to match your assumption. This is why those who effortlessly attract success, love, or wealth do not chase these things. They simply assume them as natural parts of their existence. They do not question whether they deserve it or whether it will come to them. They know. And because they know, the world arranges itself to reflect their knowing. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you assume to be true. Wanting something implies that you do not have it, and by wanting you affirm the absence of it. But assuming means stepping into the state of already having, already being, already possessing. When you assume a state, you no longer desire it, you express it, you live from it, and you allow the world to catch up to your new reality. To shift your life, you must shift your assumptions. Begin by identifying what you have unconsciously assumed about yourself and your world. Do you assume that things never work out for you? Do you assume that love is difficult? Do you assume that success is reserved for others? These hidden assumptions govern your experiences, but the moment you recognize them, you gain the power to change them. Choose a new assumption, one that aligns with the life you desire. If you wish to experience abundance, assume that wealth flows effortlessly to you. If you desire love, assume that you are deeply cherished and valued. If you seek health, assume that your body is strong and whole. Do not wait for external confirmation. Assume it now. Think, speak, and act from this state, and soon the world will conform. This may feel unnatural because the senses will present evidence to the contrary. But reality is always lagging behind consciousness. It is reflecting past assumptions, not current ones. Persist in your new assumption, and in time, the outer world will shift to match it. Those who live extraordinary lives do so not because they are lucky, but because they assume differently. They assume that they are capable, that opportunities always come their way, that life is working in their favor. These assumptions, held consistently, shape the course of their experiences. The same principle applies to you. There is no external force denying you your desires, only the assumptions you hold within. It is not enough to occasionally entertain a new assumption. It must become your dominant state. You must occupy it so fully that it feels more real than anything the physical world shows you. And when it does, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Assumption creates reality. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but always. What you assume to be true, whether seen or unseen, will become the reality you experience. Speak as if you already possess it. Think as if it is already yours, and feel as if it has already come to pass. Do this with unwavering certainty, and your world will transform before your eyes. The mind is a vast and powerful instrument, capable of shaping reality in accordance with the thoughts it holds. However, there exists a natural resistance within the conscious mind, a tendency to cling to familiar patterns and reject change. This is why many people struggle to break free from limiting beliefs, even when they intellectually understand that a new reality is possible. They may wish for abundance, love, or success, yet their deeply ingrained thought patterns keep them tethered to their current circumstances. But there is a key that unlocks transformation: repetition. The conscious mind may resist change, but the subconscious mind does not. It is impressionable, absorbing whatever it is given, provided it is repeated with conviction and consistency. What you feed it daily, it accepts as truth. Whether those repeated thoughts serve you or limit you, the subconscious makes no distinction. It simply takes in what it is given and externalizes it into your reality. Consider for a moment how deeply embedded beliefs are formed. From childhood, you were told certain things about yourself, the world, and what is possible for you. These statements were repeated often enough that they became your truth. If you were told that you must work hard to succeed, you accepted this as a fact. If you were repeatedly made to feel unworthy, that too became part of your self-concept. These beliefs were not necessarily chosen by you. They were absorbed through repetition. Just as limiting beliefs were formed through repetition, they can be undone in the same way. The mind is not fixed, it is malleable. It can be reprogrammed through deliberate and consistent affirmation. When you repeat a thought often enough, it bypasses the resistance of the conscious mind and sinks into the subconscious, where it takes root and begins to express itself in your external world. This is why the words you speak to yourself daily hold immense power. Every time you affirm something, whether positive or negative, you are reinforcing it. If you constantly tell yourself, "I am unlucky," your subconscious accepts this and ensures that you encounter circumstances that validate that belief. But if you begin to affirm, "Everything is working out in my favor," and you repeat this with unwavering conviction, your subconscious mind will arrange your reality accordingly. Repetition does not mean mechanical words spoken without feeling. To be effective, it must be accompanied by belief and emotion. The subconscious mind responds not just to words but to the feeling behind them. If you say, "I am wealthy," but internally doubt it, the affirmation carries no power. But if you repeat it daily with certainty, allowing yourself to feel as though it is already true, the subconscious mind will accept it. The mistake most people make is giving up too soon. They affirm something for a few days, perhaps a week, and when they do not see immediate results, they assume it does not work. But repetition is a process, and just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, neither do new beliefs take root instantly. They must be nurtured, reinforced, and repeated until they become so deeply embedded that they feel natural. The most effective way to rewire the mind is through saturation, flooding the subconscious with the new belief until it becomes second nature. This is done by speaking it, thinking it, imagining it, and feeling it over and over again. It is through this relentless repetition that the old limiting beliefs lose their grip and the new reality begins to take form. Throughout history, those who have mastered the art of repetition have transformed their lives in miraculous ways. Athletes visualize their victories repeatedly before they ever step onto the field. Successful individuals affirm their greatness long before the world recognizes them. Those who rise from obscurity to wealth first see themselves as wealthy in their minds, reinforcing this image daily until it manifests. The process is simple, yet most overlook it because they seek instant change. They do not realize that their current circumstances are the result of years, perhaps decades, of repeated thought patterns. To shift into a new reality requires the same dedication. It requires choosing over and over again to affirm what you desire rather than what you fear. It requires speaking of your success even when external evidence suggests otherwise. It requires persistence when the conscious mind wants to revert to its old ways. Repetition is not merely a tool, it is the very mechanism by which reality is shaped. Everything you experience is a reflection of the thoughts you have, reinforced through consistent focus. If you wish to change your reality, change what you repeat to yourself daily. Flood your mind with the belief that you are already the person you wish to be. Speak it, feel it, embody it. The resistance of the conscious mind fades and the new assumption takes root. What once felt unnatural becomes your truth. What once seemed impossible becomes your experience. This is the power of repetition. When applied correctly, it is unstoppable. It overrides doubt, dissolves fear, and reconstructs your world from the inside out. No one is exempt from this law. Whether you consciously use it or not, repetition is shaping your life. The question is, are you repeating thoughts that serve you or thoughts that limit you? Are you reinforcing lack, struggle, and doubt, or are you affirming abundance, ease, and certainty? You have the power to choose. And when you do, when you commit to repeating the truth of your desires daily with full conviction, the world will mold itself to match. The conscious mind may resist at first, but the subconscious does not. It absorbs, accepts, and expresses whatever it is given. Feed it wisely, and in time, the reality you once dreamed of will be the reality you wake up to every day. The mind is conditioned to seek logic, to measure possibilities by what is seen and what has been experienced before. It clings to patterns, calculations, and probabilities, believing that reality follows a fixed, predictable path. This is the nature of the logical mind. It doubts, it questions, and it hesitates. But creation does not operate through logic. It works through belief. What is faith if not the ability to hold on to an unseen reality, knowing it must come to pass? Faith is the bridge between desire and fulfillment, the force that brings the invisible into form. Those who rely solely on logic trap themselves in limitation. They look at their current circumstances and say, "This is my reality, and it cannot change unless something external shifts first." They demand evidence before belief, never realizing that belief itself is the evidence, the unseen cause that precedes all visible effects. The truth is, whatever you accept as real in your mind will express itself in your world, regardless of whether logic agrees. The great creators, the ones who bend reality in their favor, are not bound by what is reasonable. They do not consult the opinions of others to determine what is possible. They simply decide what will be and persist in that decision until it materializes. There is a reason why so many who achieve greatness do so despite overwhelming odds. It is not because they are lucky, nor because they have access to something others do not. It is because they refuse to let logic dictate their outcomes. They do not ask whether their dreams are realistic, they assume them to be true. And in doing so, they summon the unseen forces that align the world to match their belief. This is why those who rely on statistics and probabilities often fail where dreamers succeed. The logical mind says, only a few people ever accomplish this, the chances are low. But belief says, I do not need to concern myself with chances, I only need to accept that it is mine. The one who believes moves forward with certainty, while the one who doubts hesitates and ultimately remains stuck. If you wish to transform your life, you must learn to suspend disbelief. You must train yourself to see beyond appearances, to know that circumstances do not dictate what is possible, your assumption does. If you decide that something is yours, and you hold to that belief with unwavering faith, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. This is where most people falter. They entertain a new belief for a moment, but as soon as doubt arises, they retreat into logic. They look around and say, "But I don't see any proof." And because they do not see it, they assume it is not real. But what they fail to understand is that the external world is only a reflection of past beliefs. The results they seek will not appear until the new belief is firmly rooted within them. The key is to persist. Hold to the vision even when everything in your logical mind says it is impossible. Speak of your desire as though it is already yours. Think from the reality you wish to experience rather than about it as something distant. The longer you do this, the more natural it becomes, until one day, without effort, it simply appears. It is not a matter of wishing or hoping, it is a matter of knowing. There is no greater power than the certainty of belief. The world bends to those who refuse to accept anything less than their assumption. History is filled with stories of individuals who defied reason, who refused to acknowledge limitations, and who, against all odds, achieved what others deemed impossible. The great inventors of the past did not wait for others to agree that their ideas were possible. The great artists did not seek permission to create. The great leaders did not hesitate because the world said their dreams were unrealistic. They simply decided, and in their decision they commanded reality to obey. What you believe will always outweigh what is logical. If you believe something is beyond your reach, no amount of effort will bring it to you. But if you believe something is already yours, no force in the world can keep it from you. This is why some struggle for years and never succeed, while others rise effortlessly. It has nothing to do with talent or opportunity. It has everything to do with belief. Doubt is the only thing that stands in the way of your desires. The moment you stop questioning whether something is possible, and instead accept it as an inevitability, the path to it will unfold effortlessly. The logical mind will tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to only believe in what has been proven, but the reality you desire will not come through logic. It will come through faith. Suspend disbelief, and miracles unfold. Allow yourself to imagine beyond what is reasonable, beyond what others say is possible. Decide what is yours, assume it fully, and let go of any thought that contradicts it. The moment you do this, reality will begin to shift in your favor. The world may not understand how it happens, but it does not need to. You are not bound by logic. You are bound only by what you believe. So believe boldly, assume the best, accept your desires as already fulfilled, and watch as reality bends to the certainty of your faith. Every thought you hold, every word you speak carries an energy. But it is not just the words themselves that create reality, it is the feeling behind them. Words without feeling are empty. They carry no creative force. But the moment you attach a feeling, the moment you truly experience the emotion of already having what you desire, you have set creation into motion. Feeling is the secret. It is the bridge between imagination and reality, the power that turns thought into form. You do not simply wish for something, you must feel as though it is already yours. It is not enough to say, "I am wealthy," if deep inside you feel lack. It is not enough to affirm, "I am loved," if you feel lonely and unworthy. The words must carry conviction, and conviction is felt, not just spoken. Many people fail to manifest their desires because they focus only on the words. They repeat affirmations mechanically, hoping that repetition alone will bring results. But words without feeling are powerless. If you do not believe what you are saying, if your emotions contradict your words, then the subconscious mind does not accept them as truth. It continues to reflect the feelings you hold rather than the words you speak. Your subconscious mind does not understand logic, it understands feeling. It takes whatever you feel deeply and accepts it as reality. This is why fear manifests so quickly. When you are afraid, you are not merely thinking of a negative outcome, you are feeling it. Your heart races, your breath shortens, and your body responds as if the feared event is already happening. And because you feel it so intensely, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to shape your world accordingly. But the same principle works in your favor when you generate the feeling of already having what you want, when you embody the state of being that aligns with your desire, when you feel gratitude, joy, and certainty as though it is already yours. You have planted the seed. The moment you allow yourself to feel the reality of your desire before it appears, you have claimed it. Think of a time when you truly wanted something and then received it. Before it came, there was anticipation, excitement, and knowing deep within you that it was on its way. That feeling of joyful expectation is the key. It is the same feeling you must cultivate now, even before your desire has physically manifested. When you can reach a place where you feel as though it has already happened, you will see reality shift in your favor. This is why so many remain stuck in cycles of lack and struggle. They may say they want something different, but their dominant feeling is one of frustration, doubt, or need. They focus on the absence of their desire rather than its fulfillment. And because the subconscious mind reflects feeling, it continues to produce the same experiences that match those emotions. To change your reality, you must first change your inner state. You must train yourself to feel abundance while surrounded by lack, to feel love while alone, to feel success before it is visible. This is not pretending, this is creation. You are not fooling yourself, you are instructing the universe. Your feelings are the language of creation. When you walk through life carrying the energy of already having what you desire, everything around you begins to respond. People, opportunities, and circumstances start to align in ways that seem almost miraculous. But it is not a miracle, it is law. The universe is simply matching your inner state. If you wish to attract wealth, you must generate the feeling of financial ease now, before the money arrives. If you wish to attract love, you must feel loved within yourself first. If you wish to experience success, you must feel the confidence and certainty of success before it is evident. The external world will always follow the internal world. It has no choice. But how do you generate a feeling when reality appears to contradict it? How do you feel wealthy when bills are piling up? How do you feel loved when no one is there? The answer is simple: imagination. Imagination is the tool that allows you to step into any state of being, regardless of what the outer world shows you. Close your eyes and see yourself already living your desire. Feel it as if it is happening now. If you wish to win the lottery, imagine yourself holding the winning ticket, feeling the rush of excitement, the overwhelming joy, the deep sense of gratitude. If you can fully immerse yourself in that experience, if you can make it real within you, then it must become real around you. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel good. Decide to feel good now. Decide to feel as if your desire has already been granted, and watch as life bends to your assumption. Reality is not something fixed, it is fluid, shaped by the energy you emit. And your dominant feeling is the most powerful signal you send out. Let go of doubt. Let go of the need to see proof before believing. The only proof you need is the feeling within you. If you can feel it, you have already claimed it. The world may take time to catch up, but it will. It has no choice but to reflect back to you the state you embody. So, stop waiting, feel it now, live in the joy of already having what you desire. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows it is done. Speak, act, and think from the reality you wish to experience. The moment you fully embrace the feeling, the moment you stop seeking and start knowing, everything will fall into place effortlessly. Feeling is the secret. It is not a matter of hoping or wishing, it is a matter of claiming. And you claim through feeling. Generate the feeling and you have already won. The rest is simply a matter of time. Your world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Every event, every circumstance, and every person that enters your life is a reflection of the state you hold within. Nothing is separate from you and nothing is beyond your influence. The moment you accept this truth, you step into your rightful position as the creator of your reality. Look around you. Everything you see, everything you experience, is a mirror of your inner world. Your dominant thoughts, your assumptions, and most importantly, your feelings shape the external world you navigate. The life you are living today is the result of past beliefs and emotional states. If you wish to change your reality, you must first change yourself. There is no other way. Most people believe they are at the mercy of circumstances. They believe life happens randomly, that luck or fate determines their experiences. But this is an illusion. Nothing in your life appears without invitation. Every moment, knowingly or unknowingly, you are setting the conditions for what comes next. The question is, are you creating consciously or are you creating by default? If you do not take control of your inner world, the world around you will continue to reflect old patterns, habits, and fears. It will feel as though you are trapped in cycles of repetition, unable to break free. But the moment you shift your state of being, the moment you consciously align your thoughts, words, and feelings with what you truly desire, the entire structure of your reality must adjust to match. The external world is fluid, not fixed. It bends and reshapes itself according to the energy you emit. When you begin to see yourself as the creator, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. You no longer beg for change. You assume the change is already done. You do not hope for a better future. You embody the state of already living it. This is the secret behind every great transformation. Those who have mastered their reality have done so not by chasing after things, but by becoming the version of themselves who naturally attracts those things. If you wish for success, you must embody the feeling of success before it appears. If you wish for love, you must first radiate the energy of love. If you wish for wealth, you must feel abundant within yourself, regardless of what your bank account currently shows. Your assumption is the blueprint for your experience. Whatever you assume to be true, whether positive or negative, will manifest. If you assume that life is difficult, that money is hard to come by, that relationships never work out, then reality will reflect those beliefs, not because the world is cruel, but because it has no choice but to mirror the state you hold. But what happens when you shift your assumptions? What happens when you decide with unwavering certainty that life is working in your favor, that money flows to you effortlessly, that love, success, and happiness are your natural state? The world must change. It has no power to resist the new reality you hold within. This is why belief is more powerful than circumstance. It does not matter what things look like now. What matters is what you accept as true in your heart. You must dare to believe in your desire, even when there is no evidence. You must trust in the unseen, knowing that the moment you claim something internally, the external world begins moving to bring it into form. Many people struggle with this because they are ruled by what they see. They look at their current situation and allow it to dictate their feelings and beliefs. But this is not how creation works. If you only believe something once you see it, you are a servant of circumstance, not a master of reality. True creation requires that you believe first, before there is proof, before the world confirms it. You must walk by faith, not by sight. You must declare what is yours and feel the reality of it before the world presents it to you. When you do this consistently, you will witness the most extraordinary transformations. What once seemed impossible will become inevitable. Your words, your thoughts, your emotions, they are the tools of creation. Every time you speak, you are shaping your reality. When you declare, "I am powerful," you are reinforcing that truth within your subconscious mind. When you affirm, "I am abundant," you are setting the stage for wealth to appear in your life. But if you speak words of doubt, fear, or limitation, you are creating barriers for yourself. Choose your words wisely. Speak only what you wish to manifest. Assume only the best outcomes. And above all, feel the reality of your desires as though they are already fulfilled. Because the moment you do, the world will rearrange itself to reflect your new state of being. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in lack or limitation. You were born to create, to shape your reality with intention and purpose. But the only way to do this is to recognize that you already have the power. It has always been within you. The only thing that has ever stood between you and your desires is your own perception. Change the way you see yourself and the world must follow. See yourself as powerful and power will flow to you. See yourself as worthy and you will attract everything that aligns with that worthiness. See yourself as abundant and abundance will become your experience. You are the creator. Your world is nothing more than a reflection of you. If you do not like what you see, do not try to force the world to change. Change yourself. Shift your assumptions, align your feelings with your desires, and watch as life transforms effortlessly before your eyes. The moment you claim your power, the moment you stop seeking and start knowing, is the moment everything changes. The universe is not separate from you, it is responding to you. The question is, what are you telling it? What are you assuming? What are you feeling? Align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. Speak it, assume it, feel it, and it must be so. There is no force in existence that can deny you what you have fully accepted within. Your world will always be what you declare it to be. Declare wisely. Everything you have heard, everything you have absorbed, leads to one undeniable truth. You are the creator of your reality. Your world is not shaped by luck, fate, or external forces beyond your control. It is shaped by your thoughts, your assumptions, and most importantly, the feelings you consistently hold within. What you accept as true will manifest. What you declare with conviction will unfold. What you feel as real will materialize before your very eyes. If you can grasp this truth and embody it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. There is no dream too big, no desire too far out of reach. The only requirement is that you trust in your own power. Stop waiting for the world to change before you believe. Change your belief first, and the world will follow. Let your words be powerful, your assumptions unwavering, and your feelings aligned with the reality you wish to experience. When you do this, life must bend to your will, for creation is not outside of you, it is you. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to hope for scraps of joy or fleeting moments of success. You are here to claim your rightful place as the master of your destiny. Step into that power, speak it, feel it, live it. And with that, I thank you. Thank you for opening your heart to this truth. Thank you for daring to believe in your own limitless potential. Thank you for choosing to create with intention rather than by default. Now go forth and manifest the life you were always meant to live. Be still, listen. Something beyond the scene is unfolding in your life. It does not matter how things appear in this moment. A divine shift is already in motion. You, the chosen one, are standing on the edge of a breakthrough that will change everything. You have prayed, you have waited, but I tell you now, the time of waiting is over. The moment you decide with unwavering faith that what you desire is already yours, the doors swing open. God does not hesitate. The delay was never his doing, but the process of aligning your heart with what was always destined for you. Miracles are not random acts. They are the natural order of those who understand the truth. You are not separate from your desires. They have been placed in your heart because they are already yours. The illusion of struggle, the weight of uncertainty, these things vanish the moment you step into the knowing. Not hoping, not wishing, but knowing. That is the moment when everything changes. That is the moment when your miracle reveals itself not as something coming to you, but as something that has been waiting for you to recognize It was always here. The chosen do not beg, the chosen do not chase, the chosen declare, and it is so. Right now, speak to your miracle. Call it forth, not as if it is distant, but as if it is already within you, because it is. Your shift is happening now. The divine has already spoken. The only question is, will you step into it? Will you claim it? A miracle is here, not tomorrow, not next year, now. You are the chosen. Stand in it, receive it, and watch as the world bends to match your belief. What you see before you is not the final story. The life you have lived up until this moment is merely a reflection of your past assumptions, your past beliefs, your past emotions. But something greater is happening now, beyond what your senses can perceive. A divine shift is unfolding behind the scenes, rearranging reality in ways you cannot yet comprehend. And the key to stepping into this transformation lies within you. It is your faith. Faith is not a passive hope. It is not a wish that things might change someday. Faith is the firm conviction that what you desire, what you have longed for, is already yours. It is not something you wait for, it is something you accept. The moment you embrace this truth, your world begins to shift to match your conviction. But as long as you continue to believe only in what your eyes see, as long as you define your future by your present circumstances, you remain bound by the same reality. The world you see is only a mirror reflecting your past state of being, and if you keep reacting to it, you simply reinforce the same story. But I tell you now, look beyond appearances. Understand that what seems unchanging, what seems immovable, is only an illusion sustained by your own belief in it. The moment you stop giving power to what you see and start giving power to what you know within, the shift begins. Perhaps you have been waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation, waiting for proof before you believe. But the proof will not come first. The belief must come first. The unseen is far more powerful than the seen, for the seen world is always the result of an inner cause. If you continue to search for evidence outside of you, you are missing the very force that creates the evidence, your inner world. The divine does not delay. What you have asked for, what you have been seeking, is already unfolding. The process is not happening outside of you, it is happening through you. Reality is not something fixed that happens to you, it is something fluid that happens because of you. If you shift your inner state, reality has no choice but to shift with it. You must begin to move with the awareness that the change has already happened. Do not look to your past to tell you who you are. Do not look to your current circumstances to determine what is possible. Begin to live from the place where your desire is fulfilled. Walk, speak, and think as one who already has it, because the moment you fully accept it in your mind, the unseen forces of life begin to work in your favor. But here is where many falter. They affirm their desires one moment, but then they look around and see no evidence of change. Doubt creeps in. They question whether it is truly working. And in that moment of doubt, they undo the very process that was already in motion. The shift was happening, but their impatience, their need for immediate validation pulled them back into the old state. You must persist. You must hold firm even when nothing appears to be changing. Because I tell you, the moment you accept something as true within, the shift has begun. It may be happening in ways unseen, but it is happening. Every great transformation begins in the invisible before it becomes visible. You do not plant a seed and demand to see a tree the next day. You trust that the process is unfolding beneath the surface, even when there is no outward sign. And just as surely as that seed will break through the soil in its appointed time, so too will your new reality emerge if you hold your faith unwavering. The divine shift is already happening for you. What you once believed was impossible is becoming inevitable. But you must choose to stand in the knowing, not in the waiting. You must decide right now that the old story no longer has power over you. The moment you do, life begins to rearrange itself. People, circumstances, and opportunities start to move in ways you could never have planned. Doors that seemed closed forever suddenly open. Paths you never considered begin to reveal themselves. But this will only happen when you stop doubting, stop hesitating, and step fully into the certainty that it is already done. It does not matter what has happened in the past. It does not matter how long you have struggled. The moment you shift within, everything begins to shift without. Time bends to meet your belief. Reality molds itself to match your conviction. And all that is required of you is to stand firm in the unseen truth, even before the world reflects it back to you. This is the secret of those who have transformed their lives. They did not wait for evidence. They became the evidence. They carried themselves as those who already had what they desired, and in doing so, they allowed reality to catch up. They did not chase, they did not struggle, they did not beg, they simply became. And as they did, the world conformed. This is your moment. This is your shift. The old story is fading, the new one is already here. All that is left for you to do is to accept it, to walk in it, and to know, beyond any doubt, that what you have sought has already been given. The divine has already spoken. Now it is your turn to believe. There is a vast difference between hoping for something and knowing it is already done. Hope carries within it an element of doubt, a quiet whisper that says maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. But knowing is absolute. Knowing does not waver, does not second guess, does not look for reassurance. It simply stands firm, unshaken, because it has already accepted the reality of the thing desired. Most people live in a state of hoping. They wish for miracles, they pray for change, they look to the outside world for signs that what they seek is coming, but in doing so they remain in a state of lack, unknowingly reinforcing the very absence of what they desire. For to hope is to declare, I do not yet have it. To wish is to affirm it is still beyond me, and as long as this is the dominant belief, the miracle remains just out of reach. Always a possibility, but never a certainty. But there are those who move differently. They do not hope, they know. They do not wait for signs, they are the sign. They understand that miracles do not come from pleading or chasing. Miracles unfold naturally for those who accept in their innermost being that what they desire is already theirs. They do not ask repeatedly, they do not check for progress. They rest in the confidence that it is done. And this is where the shift happens. The moment you stop hoping and start knowing, everything around you begins to change. The external world is always a reflection of the internal state. And when you truly accept something as your reality, life has no choice but to conform. It is not a matter of if, it is simply a matter of alignment. Consider the nature of creation itself. Everything that exists first began in the unseen. The tallest buildings, the greatest works of art, the most profound inventions, they were first ideas, held in the mind of their creators as absolute certainties before they took form in the physical world. No one creates while doubting. The architect does not question whether the building will exist. The painter does not wonder if the masterpiece will appear. They begin with the end already complete in their mind, and so the process of bringing it forth becomes inevitable. Your life operates under the same principle. The moment you claim something is already done, the forces of life begin to arrange themselves to make it so. This is why the one who knows will always be ahead of the one who merely hopes. Because knowing is the language of creation. It carries authority. It does not seek, it declares. It does not wish, it embodies. And when you reach this state, you no longer concern yourself with how things will unfold. You do not entertain questions of when or if. Those who know do not micromanage the process. They simply live in the end, knowing that the unseen is always working in their favor. But here is where many falter. They affirm their desires for a moment, but then they check their circumstances for evidence. And if nothing seems to change immediately, they fall back into doubt. This is where most lose their way. Because what they fail to understand is that the moment they know, the shift has already begun. The evidence does not appear first, the conviction does. And those who hold firm without wavering are the ones who see the unseen. You must stop seeking and start believing. Stop looking for confirmation outside of you and become the confirmation within you. Walk, speak, and think as one who already has it, because the moment you fully accept it as done, it is. Life bends to match your certainty. There are those who will tell you that you need to work harder, to try more, to struggle and prove yourself worthy. But I tell you, the true power lies in knowing. The moment you stop chasing, stop doubting, stop questioning, and simply step into the reality of your desire, everything changes. Have you not seen it in the world? Those who carry themselves as if they are already successful seem to attract success effortlessly. Those who believe they are loved without question always seem to find love surrounding them. This is not coincidence. It is the natural order of things. The world does not give to those who beg. It gives to those who expect, to those who have already claimed their portion without hesitation. So today I ask you, where do you stand? Are you still hoping? Are you still waiting for proof? Or are you ready to step into the knowing? Because the moment you do, your reality will begin to shift. The miracle is not coming, it is already here. It is not something you need to convince the universe to give you. It is something you need to accept as already yours. The power has never been outside of you. It has never been in the hands of fate or circumstances. It has always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it. And the moment you stop seeking and start believing, the miracle is no longer a possibility. What you are facing right now, the struggles, the obstacles, the delays, are not real in the way you believe them to be. They are not permanent. They are not unchangeable. They are merely shadows cast by the doubts and fears you once entertained. They are echoes of an old state of mind, a past belief system that shaped the reality you see today. But just as they appeared, they can also disappear. The moment you shift your inner world, your outer world must follow. Most people believe their struggles are fixed, that they are victims of circumstance, that life is happening to them rather than through them. They believe their challenges are real, solid, immovable. But the truth is, nothing in your current experience is more real than the thoughts you hold about it. What you call a struggle is simply a reflection of your previous state of mind. The doubts you nurtured, the fears you entertained, the limitations you accepted, all of these have come together to form what you see today. But if your thoughts created this experience, then new thoughts can create something different. You are not bound by what appears before you. You are not a prisoner of your past beliefs. The moment you step into a new conviction, the entire structure of your reality begins to shift. It may not be immediate to the eyes, but it is immediate in truth. The unseen rearranges first, and soon the visible must follow. Most people, when they face difficulties, react to them as if they are permanent. They fight against them. They worry, they complain, they exhaust themselves trying to force external change without realizing the cause is within. But all struggle is born from resistance. The harder you fight against something, the more real it becomes to you. The more attention you give to a problem, the stronger its grip on you. But the moment you withdraw your energy from the illusion collapses. You do not need to fix your problems, you need to see through them. You need to recognize them for what they are, temporary manifestations of old thoughts, nothing more. And the moment you stop accepting them as unchangeable, they begin to dissolve. Imagine a person lost in a dream. Within the dream, they believe everything they see is real. They run from threats. They react to fears. They struggle against obstacles. But the moment they wake up, they realize it was all just a projection of their mind. The threats were never real. The obstacles never actually existed. It was all an illusion. Your waking life operates the same way. The things that seem so overwhelming right now, the financial hardship, the relationship struggles, the health concerns, These are not solid, fixed realities. They are reflections of past doubts, past fears, past limitations. The moment you wake up to this, the moment you recognize that your belief is the only thing holding them in place, you regain your power. You do not need to fight to change your circumstances. You only need to shift your belief. If you can accept fully and completely that what you desire is already yours, life will have no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect that. The struggle is not in making things happen. The struggle is only in overcoming your own doubts long enough for reality to shift. When you step into the belief of your miracle, when you fully embody the state of having already received it, the obstacles that once seemed immovable suddenly lose their power. The delays that once frustrated you vanish. The resistance that once held you back fades away. Because the world is only ever reflecting back to you what you accept as true. Some will say, "But I cannot ignore my struggles. They are real. I can see them. I can feel them. They affect my life every day." But do you not see that very belief is why they persist? You continue to hold them in place by giving them your attention, your energy, your acceptance. The moment you withdraw your belief in them, they begin to shift. Think of a river flowing effortlessly, naturally, without struggle. But if you place a dam in its path, the water builds up, pressure increases, tension rises. The water itself was never struggling. It only met resistance. The moment the dam is removed, the river continues its course with ease. Your struggles are nothing more than dams in the flow of your life. And those dams are built from fear, doubt, and disbelief. Remove them, and the flow is restored. The answer has already been given. The blessing you seek, the breakthrough you long for, the transformation you desire, it is already yours. You are not waiting for God to say yes. He already has. The moment the desire was placed in your heart, the answer was spoken into existence. Your task is not to beg, not to plead, not to convince, but to align yourself with the reality where it is already done. Too often people approach life as if they must persuade God to grant them what they want. They pray as if they are trying to change His mind, as if He is withholding their blessings, waiting for them to prove their worth. But this is a misunderstanding of divine law. God is not a force outside of you deciding whether or not to give you what you seek. He has already placed within you the very thing you desire. And the moment you truly accept it, it must manifest. You do not need to struggle to receive what is already yours. What keeps you from seeing it is your own doubt, your own resistance, your own belief that it is not yet here. Every time you question whether it will happen, every time you look at your circumstances and think it is impossible, you delay the unfolding of what has already been granted. Imagine a radio broadcasting a signal. The station is playing, the music is already in the air, but unless you tune into the right frequency, you will not hear it. The music exists, but you must align your receiver to the correct channel to experience it. This is how divine manifestation works. The answer to your desire has already been given. It is already present, already available. But unless you tune your mind, your faith, your very being to the reality where it exists, you will not experience it. People often say, "I am waiting on God," but the truth is, God is waiting on you. He is waiting for you to step into the knowing that your desire is already done. He is waiting for you to walk in faith, to think, speak, and act from the place of someone who already has what they seek. Not to hope, not to wish, but to know. Hope says one day it will happen. Knowing says it is already mine. Hope looks at circumstances and waits for change. Knowing looks beyond circumstances and commands change. This is the difference between those who experience miracles and those who continue to wait. The ones who receive do not wait for confirmation from the outside world. They do not wait for evidence before they believe. They believe first, and the evidence follows. Look around you. Everything you see now, every experience in your life, is a result of past beliefs you held, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your current reality is simply the harvest of seeds you planted in your mind. If you do not like the harvest, plant new seeds, think new thoughts, step into a new awareness, align yourself with what you desire, not with what you fear. When you pray, do not pray as if you are asking for something that is not yet yours. Pray as if you are giving thanks for what has already been granted. Speak as if you already have it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief of knowing it is done. Live from the end result, and reality will mold itself to fit that state. This is why so many people struggle with unanswered prayers. Not because God has denied them, but because they continue to dwell in the state of lack, in the mindset of waiting, in the energy of hoping instead of receiving. They pray for healing but continue to dwell in sickness. They ask for abundance but continue to think from poverty. They seek love but continue to see themselves as alone. And so they remain in the very state they wish to leave, not because God has said no, but because they have not yet said yes to the reality where their prayer is already fulfilled. You must learn to embody the version of yourself that already has what you seek. If you desire peace, think and move as someone who is already at peace. If you desire success, see yourself as successful now. If you desire love, radiate the energy of someone who is already deeply loved. The world does not give you what you want, it reflects what you are. The moment you shift your inner state, the outer world follows. But most people look at the outer world first and allow it to dictate their inner state. They say, I will believe it when I see it. But the truth is, you will see it when you believe it. Faith is not about forcing things to happen. It is about knowing they are already happening. It is about standing firm in the reality where your desire is fulfilled, even when everything around you seems to suggest otherwise. It is about refusing to be swayed by circumstances, refusing to give in to doubt, refusing to accept anything less than what has already been spoken over your life. You are not waiting for God to approve your desires. He already has. The moment you asked, it was given. The only question is, will you receive it? Will you step into the knowing that it is done? Will you align yourself with the reality where it already exists? This is the secret of those who walk in miracles. They do not wish, they do not beg, they do not look at circumstances for confirmation. They know. They stand in faith. They declare their reality as already fulfilled. And because they do, life bends to match their conviction. You hold this power now. You do not need to wait another day, another moment. The answer has already been given. God has already said yes. Align yourself with that truth, and you will watch as reality transforms before your eyes. You are not separate from the miracle you seek. You are not merely a spectator waiting for divine intervention. You are the vessel through which it manifests. The power that brings miracles into existence is not outside of you, but within you, waiting for your recognition, waiting for your conviction. The moment you claim your divine inheritance, life bends to match your declaration. What you truly believe, you receive. This is the greatest truth that so many fail to realize. The miracle is not something to chase, not something to beg for, not something to earn. It is something to become. When you embody the knowing that you are already in possession of what you seek, the world has no choice but to conform. The external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the inner world. When you declare something with certainty, when you step into the reality of it without hesitation, the universe arranges itself to fulfill your words. Most people live their lives as if they are at the mercy of circumstances. They look at their current reality and allow it to dictate their beliefs. They see lack and believe in scarcity. They see sickness and believe in weakness. They see struggle and believe in hardship. But the truth is that reality is shaped not by what is, but by what you accept as true. What you accept and embody is what will continue to manifest. If you want to see a miracle, you must first declare it within yourself. You must stop waiting for proof, stop waiting for external validation. Declare it now and let the world adjust to match your conviction. Speak it not as something that will happen in the future, but as something that is already done. Feel it, embody it, live from it, and watch as it takes form before your eyes. Doubt is the only thing that stands in your way. When you waver, when you question, when you allow uncertainty to creep in, you delay the very thing that is already yours. The moment you step into unwavering belief, the moment you refuse to accept anything less than what you have claimed, everything begins to shift. Look around you. Everything you have ever received, every experience you have encountered has come as a result of the beliefs you have held. Some of these beliefs were conscious, others unconscious, but all of them shaped your world. This is why some struggle and others thrive. It is not because one is more deserving than the other, not because one is luckier, but because one has accepted their divine inheritance while the other has not. You must understand, there is no power denying you. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. The only thing standing between you and your miracle is your own willingness to claim it. When you truly understand this, everything changes. Stop asking and start knowing. Stop wishing and start declaring. Say to yourself, it is already done. It is already mine. I do not need to wait. I do not need to struggle. I only need to align myself with the reality where it has already happened. This is not arrogance. This is faith. This is the power that moves mountains, the power that transforms lives. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to walk in miracles effortlessly? How everything they touch prospers? How doors open for them without struggle? It is not because they are favored above you. It is because they know their power. They do not doubt. They do not hesitate. They declare, and it is so. The same power exists within you now. The only thing required is your belief. If you continue to see yourself as lacking, as unworthy, as someone who needs a miracle, instead of being the miracle, you will continue to experience the absence of what you desire. But the moment you shift your perception, the moment you see yourself as the vessel through which divine power flows, everything changes. Imagine you're holding a key. This key unlocks every door, answers every prayer, fulfills every desire. But if you do not believe in the key, if you do not use it, the doors remain shut. Not because they are locked against you, but because you have not turned the key. You must act in faith. You must walk in the reality of what you have declared. If you have spoken prosperity, then move through the world as if it is already yours. If you have spoken healing, then carry yourself as someone who is already whole. If you have spoken love, then embody the energy of one who is already deeply cherished. It is not enough to say the words. You must become the words. Your thoughts, your actions, your emotions must all align with the reality you have declared. And when they do, when there is no contradiction within you, when there is no hesitation, no fear, no doubt, the miracle must appear. You are the vessel of the miracle. The moment you claim your divine inheritance, life bends to match your conviction. The power has always been yours. Speak it, believe it, walk in it, and it will be so. You are not waiting for a miracle. The miracle is waiting for you. It has been here all along, ready to reveal itself the moment you decide to embrace it fully. You have spent too much time believing that your breakthrough, your transformation, your answered prayer is somewhere in the future, always just beyond your reach. But the truth is, it has already been given. You are not required to chase, struggle, or beg for it. You are only required to accept it. The mind conditioned by the world believes in time. It believes in delay. It believes that change must be gradual. that progress must be slow, that miracles must come after great effort. But the truth is, what you desire exists now. The only reason it has not appeared in your world is because you have not yet aligned yourself with it. Everything in your life reflects the state of your mind. The moment you shift, reality shifts. The moment you truly embody the knowing that your miracle is already here, it must appear. This is not a process of waiting. It is a process of becoming. It is a process of stepping into the reality that has been waiting for you all along. If you believe that you are still in the process of receiving, you create a reality where your desire is always just out of reach. But the moment you say, "It is done, it is mine now, I am living in it now," you collapse the illusion of time, and the miracle must reveal itself in your world. This is the secret that so many fail to understand. Reality does not create your belief. Your belief creates reality. Most people look at their circumstances and say, "I will believe in my miracle when I see proof," but that is not how it works. It is because you believe that proof appears. Your world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner convictions. There is no power outside of you withholding anything from you. There is no force telling you that you must wait longer, suffer more, or prove yourself worthy before you can receive. The only thing that separates you from your desire is your own willingness to claim it. The moment you decide with complete certainty that it is already yours, everything shifts. Doubt is the only thing that delays. When you hesitate, when you second guess, when you look at your current circumstances and allow them to dictate what is possible, you reinforce the illusion that you are still waiting. But if you understand that the external world is only a mirror, then you know that the way to change what you see is to change what you accept as true within yourself. Ask yourself, what am I still waiting for? Am I waiting for circumstances to change before I believe? Am I waiting for a sign before I take action? Am I waiting for permission to step into my power? If you are waiting, you are delaying. The time is now. You must live from the state of your fulfilled desire, not toward it. If you wish to experience abundance, you must move through life as someone who is already abundant. If you wish to experience love, you must embody the energy of one who is already loved. If you wish to experience healing, you must align your thoughts and emotions with the state of wholeness. This is not pretending, this is not forcing, this is shifting your awareness to what has already been given to you. It is recognizing that the universe responds to your conviction, not your longing. Most people unknowingly push their desires further away by continuously affirming that they do not yet have them. They wake up each day thinking about what they lack, speaking about what they lack, feeling the absence of what they desire, and so their world continues to reflect that lack. But the ones who live in miracles, who manifest effortlessly, do something different. They do not see themselves as someone trying to receive. They know they have already received. They walk, speak, and act as if their miracle is already a part of their reality. And because they know it, the world has no choice but to conform. Your time is not in the future, your time is not someday, your time is now. The only question is, will you accept it? Will you let go of the belief that you must wait? Will you release the doubts that have kept you stuck? Will you step fully into the reality that has been waiting for you all along? It takes one decision, one moment of complete certainty, one shift in consciousness. And when you make that shift, when you fully embrace the knowing that your miracle is already here, life bends to match your conviction. You are not waiting, you are stepping into what has always been yours. Speak it, declare it, live from it, and it will be so. Everything you desire is already here, waiting for you to claim it. There is no delay, no external force withholding your miracle. Only your own willingness to align with it. The moment you shift from hoping to knowing, from waiting to receiving, everything changes. Reality is not something you chase. It is something you create. Let this be the moment you stop looking at your circumstances for proof and start declaring what is already yours. Walk as if it is done. Speak as if it is done. Feel as if it is done. And life will move to reflect that certainty back to you. Your time is now. Your miracle is now. It has always been now. The only thing left is for you to step into it fully. Thank you. For a moment and listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. There is no separation between you and the wealth you desire, except for one thing, your own acceptance. You have been told that money is hard to earn, that it requires sacrifice, that it is reserved for the fortunate few. But I tell you now, these are illusions, nothing more than shadows cast by the mind. Money is not outside of you. It is not something to be chased, to be begged for, or to be feared. It is an extension of you, an expression of the abundance that already exists within. The question is not whether money will come. The question is, have you accepted it? You see, the world does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. If you believe in struggle, struggle will appear. If you believe in abundance, abundance will manifest. The wealthy do not become wealthy through effort alone. They become wealthy because they assume themselves to be so. Their state of mind commands their reality. So I ask you now, what do you assume about yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who constantly lacks, who barely gets by, who fears the arrival of bills? Or do you see yourself as someone to whom money comes naturally, as effortlessly as the air you breathe? Your imagination is the gateway to your fortune. The moment you stop waiting for money, the moment you stop hoping and start knowing, you will see how effortlessly it flows to you. Feel it now. Feel the ease, the security, the freedom. Let go of every thought of scarcity. Wealth is not something distant. It is here, now, waiting for your acceptance. There is no need to struggle, no need to plead, no need to work yourself into exhaustion. The only work required is the inner work, the work of assumption, the work of belief, the work of knowing that money is already yours. Walk through life from this moment forward as one who is already financially free. Speak as if you are wealthy, think as if you are wealthy, act as if you are wealthy. Not out of arrogance, but out of the deep and unshakable truth that what you assume must come to pass. Your world is not separate from you. It is you reflected outwardly. Every circumstance, every financial condition, every so-called chance event is nothing more than the projection of your internal state of mind. If you find yourself in lack, struggling to make ends meet, constantly worried about money, it is not because the world is unfair or opportunities are scarce. It is because, on a deep level, you have accepted the idea of scarcity as truth. Likewise, those who seem to attract wealth effortlessly do not do so by luck or external advantage, but because they have internally accepted abundance as their natural state. The mind is the foundation of all experience. Whatever you hold to be true within yourself must eventually externalize in your world. You may believe that money is difficult to earn, that financial success requires relentless struggle, or that wealth is only for a select few. If these ideas dominate your consciousness, then the world will confirm them. You will see your bank account reflect limitation. Your opportunities will seem few, and you will feel trapped in an endless cycle of financial hardship. This is not because reality is inherently harsh, but because you have unknowingly imposed these limitations upon yourself. The wealthy, on the other hand, do not necessarily work harder than others, nor are they inherently more deserving. The difference lies in their assumption about money. To them, money is natural, abundant, and ever-flowing. They do not question whether they deserve it, nor do they worry about losing it. They operate from an inner state of financial security, and as a result, their external world arranges itself to match that belief. Even in times of apparent crisis, they do not fall into fear because their foundation is unshaken. They know, deep within, that abundance is their natural state, and so it remains. You must understand that money itself holds no power over you. It is neutral. It does not determine your worth, nor does it dictate your happiness. What gives money power is your belief about it. If you believe money is difficult to obtain, it will be. If you believe it is constantly slipping through your fingers, you will always feel like you never have enough. But if you shift your internal perception, if you begin to see money as an effortless, natural part of your life, it will respond accordingly. Consider how easily you accept the air you breathe. You do not wake up wondering if there will be enough oxygen for you today. You do not feel the need to chase it, to beg for it, or to fight for it. You simply know that it is there, available to you at all times. Imagine if you treated money the same way. Imagine if you released the fear, the stress, the feeling of lack, and simply accepted that financial abundance is as natural as the air around you. How different would your experience be? Most people try to change their financial situation by taking external action while ignoring their internal state. They chase opportunities, work long hours, and force themselves into struggle, all while holding on to the belief that money is difficult to attain. This is why their efforts often bring little lasting change. The key is not in the struggle, but in the shift of consciousness. Before money can appear in your external world, it must first be accepted within. To shift your internal state, begin by observing your thoughts and emotions around money. Do you feel stress and worry when you think about it? Do you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "I never have enough"? These small, seemingly insignificant thoughts are powerful, for they reinforce the very conditions you wish to change. Start replacing these thoughts with new ones. When you find yourself thinking of lack, consciously shift your focus to abundance. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," say, "Money flows to me effortlessly, and I always have more than enough." Instead of worrying about bills, affirm, "All my financial needs are met with ease." Visualization is also a powerful tool. Take a moment each day to close your eyes and feel the reality of financial abundance, not as something distant, but as something real happening now. Imagine yourself living the life of wealth and ease. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with knowing money is always present. As you do this consistently, your subconscious mind will accept it as truth, and the external world will adjust accordingly. You must also release the fear of losing money. Many who achieve wealth fall back into financial struggle because they never truly shifted their inner state. They accumulated money but remained fearful of losing it. Fear attracts the very thing it focuses on. True financial freedom is not just having money, but knowing that money is always available to you, no matter the circumstance. Understand that you are the source of all abundance. The external world is not something separate from you, dictating your circumstances. It is your own consciousness materialized. Change your inner state, and your financial reality must change as well. Accept money as natural, let go of struggle, and assume the mindset of effortless abundance. The moment you do, wealth will no longer be something you chase. It will be something that flows to you, because it has already been accepted within. Money, like all things in life, is an energy that responds to the state of mind you hold. When you view money as something difficult to obtain, something that requires endless struggle and effort, you unknowingly push it further away. The very act of struggling affirms that you do not have it. The harder you chase, the more you reinforce the idea that it is not already yours. But what if you could shift your approach entirely? What if, instead of struggling, you relaxed into the certainty that money is already on its way to you, effortlessly and abundantly? The belief that wealth requires struggle is deeply ingrained in many. From a young age, people are conditioned to think that money is something that must be fought for, something that comes only through hard work and sacrifice. They are told that financial freedom is reserved for the lucky or the privileged, and that the only way to attain it is through relentless effort. But this mindset only creates more resistance. It places money on a pedestal, making it something separate, something distant, something to be chased. And anything you chase remains just out of reach. Consider those who seem to attract money with ease. They do not run after it, nor do they exhaust themselves in the process of acquiring it. Instead, they carry a calm certainty, a quiet confidence that money will always be there for them. They do not worry about where it will come from. They simply expect it to come. And because they expect it, it does. Their mindset aligns with abundance, and as a result, abundance flows naturally to them. On the other hand, those who constantly struggle for money unknowingly reinforce its absence. When you are desperate, anxious, or fearful about money, you are sending a signal that you believe it is lacking in your life. Your emotions and beliefs create your reality. The more you focus on lack, the more lack you will experience. Even when money does come, if you are operating from a mindset of struggle, it will slip through your fingers and you will find yourself back in the same cycle of financial hardship. The solution is to release the struggle. It does not mean you stop taking action or become passive. It means you shift the way you relate to money. Instead of chasing, you allow. Instead of forcing, you receive. Instead of worrying, you trust. This shift begins with a change in perspective. Imagine for a moment that money is not something outside of you, but something that naturally flows to you like air. You do not chase after air. You do not wonder if there will be enough for you tomorrow. You do not wake up in a state of panic about whether or not you will be able to breathe. You simply trust that the air is always present, always available. What if you treated money the same way? What if, instead of fearing its absence, you trusted in its constant availability? One of the most powerful ways to detach from the struggle mindset is to embody the feeling of already having money. This means stepping into the emotional and mental state of financial abundance before it physically appears. Instead of worrying about bills, feel the relief and ease of knowing they are effortlessly paid. Instead of stressing over income, feel the confidence of knowing that money flows to you in unexpected and limitless ways. By shifting your internal state, you align yourself with abundance, and your external world must follow. This is not about pretending or faking it. It is about truly accepting that wealth is already yours. When you relax into this truth, you no longer need to chase. You no longer need to force. You trust in the natural flow of abundance, and that trust allows money to move toward you effortlessly. Detaching from struggle also means letting go of fear, fear of not having enough, fear of losing what you already have, fear of financial uncertainty. These fears only create more scarcity. Instead, develop a mindset of security, no matter your current circumstances. Even if your bank account is empty, do not allow your mind to dwell on lack. Remind yourself that what you see in the physical world is only a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. Change your thoughts now, and your financial situation will soon change to match them. The irony is that when you stop struggling for money, it begins to appear in your life more easily. When you stop worrying, you free up your energy to receive opportunities. When you stop chasing, you become magnetic to wealth. This is not about working less or avoiding responsibility. It is about shifting from a place of desperation to a place of calm expectation. There is no need to fight for money. There is no need to stress over it. Abundance is already available to you. The only thing that keeps it at bay is your belief that you must struggle for it. Let go of that belief. Trust in the flow of money as naturally as you trust in the rising of the sun. Relax and know that it is already yours. Wealth is not something outside of you. It is not a number in a bank account, nor is it the possessions you accumulate. Wealth is first and foremost, a state of consciousness. Before money can appear in your reality, you must first claim it in your imagination. You must become rich in thought, in feeling, in certainty, before the world reflects it back to you. Many believe that they will feel wealthy once they have money, that the external proof must come first. But this is an illusion. The world does not dictate what you believe. Rather, what you believe dictates the world you experience. If you wait for money to feel rich, you will always be waiting. But if you assume the feeling of wealth now, before any visible change, your external reality will inevitably shift to match that assumption. Everything in your life is a reflection of your state of being. If you live with a mindset of lack, constantly thinking about what you do not have, worrying about bills, and feeling the weight of financial struggle, you are reinforcing that state of being. Your mind is like a projector, casting your internal world onto the screen of reality. You cannot expect to see a movie of abundance when the real you are playing is one of scarcity. So, how do you shift? How do you step into the consciousness of wealth when your external circumstances seem to say otherwise? The answer is simple. Live as if you are already wealthy. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It means embracing the inner confidence, security, and ease that a wealthy person naturally feels. It means walking through life knowing that money is always flowing to you, that opportunities are limitless, and that abundance is your natural state. It means replacing thoughts of worry with thoughts of gratitude. Replacing thoughts of worry with trust that everything you need. Consider the difference in energy between someone who is struggling financially and someone who is truly wealthy. A person trapped in scarcity is anxious, desperate, and fearful. They make decisions from a place of lack, clinging to every dollar, fearing that there will never be enough. They constantly affirm their poverty with thoughts like, I can't afford this, I never have enough, money is hard to get. These thoughts solidify their financial reality. Now contrast this with a person who embodies the consciousness of wealth. They are calm, they trust that money will always be available to them. They do not chase, they attract. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They are generous, not because they have excess, but because they know giving and receiving are part of the same flow. They affirm abundance with thoughts like, money comes to me easily, there is always more than enough. I am open to receiving wealth in all forms. And because they think this way, their reality aligns accordingly. You can begin shifting into this consciousness now, regardless of your present financial situation. Start by imagining yourself as wealthy. Not someday, not in the distant future, but right now. Close your eyes and step into the version of yourself who already has everything they desire. How does this version of you walk? How do they speak? What do they believe about money? How do they feel when they check their bank account? Immerse yourself in this feeling until it becomes second nature. Your imagination is the blueprint of your reality. What you accept as true internally must manifest externally. If you persist in the assumption of wealth, your world will reshape itself to reflect that belief. This is not wishful thinking, this is the law of consciousness. The world cannot contradict the state you dwell in. Some may argue that they cannot feel wealthy while their bills pile up, while they struggle to make ends meet. But understand this, reacting to your current circumstances only keeps them alive. What you focus on expands. If you want to change your financial reality, you must stop reinforcing what you do not want. Instead, give your full attention to what you do want. Wealth, ease, financial freedom, and make that your dominant feeling. This is the key. Act as if it is already done. Think, speak, and feel as a wealthy person would, even before the evidence appears. Do not look to the world to confirm it first. Your confirmation comes from within. The moment you claim wealth in consciousness, the process of manifestation begins. It may not happen overnight, but if you persist in this state, the world will rearrange itself to match your new assumption. You are already wealthy, not because of what you see in the physical, but because of what you hold in your mind. Let go of the old beliefs of struggle and limitation. Step into the knowing that abundance is already yours. Live from that truth and watch as money, opportunities, and prosperity flow into your life effortlessly. Your financial reality is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, who never has enough, who is always chasing after money, then that is exactly the experience you will continue to have. Your identity, what you assume to be true about yourself, dictates what you allow into your life. Many people try to change their financial situation without first changing their self-concepts. They seek new jobs, new strategies, or external opportunities while still carrying the identity of someone who is struggling. They wonder why, no matter what they do, money always seems to slip through their fingers, why their bank accounts never grow, why they remain stuck in the same financial cycles. The reason is simple. They have not yet changed the person they believe themselves to be. Your world is a mirror, reflecting back to you your innermost assumptions. If you identify as a person who is bad with money, who can't seem to get ahead, who is always in debt, then no matter how hard you try, your subconscious will work to confirm those beliefs. You will make decisions, take actions, and create circumstances that align with that identity, often without even realizing it. But the moment you shift your self-concept, everything changes. When you begin to see yourself as someone who is financially abundant, who naturally attracts and manages money well, who always has more than enough, your world will start to shift in response. You will make different choices. You will attract different opportunities. You will behave in ways that reinforce your new reality. This is why wealthy individuals tend to stay wealthy, because they carry the self-perceived of a person who is wealthy. They do not doubt their financial security. They do not feel anxious about money. They know at their core that abundance is their natural state. Even if they lose money, they do not panic because their identity is intact. They trust that more will come, and so it does. If you want to change your financial reality, you must first change how you see yourself. Begin by observing the thoughts and words you use around money. Do you speak from lack? Do you constantly tell yourself, I can't afford that, money is hard to get, I'm always broke? These statements reinforce the very reality you are trying to escape. Every time you affirm your struggle, you are cementing it further into place. Start speaking and thinking from the identity of a wealthy person. Say to yourself, I am someone who attracts money easily. I always have more than enough. Wealth flows to me effortlessly. These are not just words, they are declarations of a new identity. The more you affirm them, the more your subconscious will accept them as truth. Your behaviors will follow. A person who believes they are wealthy acts differently from someone who believes they are struggling. They handle money with confidence. They make decisions from a place of abundance, not fear. They invest in themselves. They are generous not because they have excess, but because they trust in the flow of money. You do not need to wait for financial success to begin acting as a wealthy person would. Start now. How would a person with financial ease move through life? How would they think? How would they feel when they check their bank account? What kind of conversations would they have about money? Step into that identity and watch as your world begins to shift. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you repeatedly affirm. If you consistently reinforce a new identity of wealth, it will become your truth. And once your self-concept shifts, your external reality has no choice but to follow. You must stop seeing wealth as something outside of yourself, something separate from you, something you have to chase. Instead, recognize that it is a state of being, a reflection of who you assume yourself to be. The moment you claim a new identity, you activate a new reality. Let go of the old self, the one who struggled, the one who worried, the one who believed money was scarce. That version of you no longer exists. Step fully into the identity of someone who is financially free, and your world will reshape itself to match that assumption. Wealth is not something you achieve. It is something you become. Most people believe that financial abundance comes from effort, from struggle, from doing more, working harder, pushing against the world until money finally appears. But this is an illusion. The true secret to wealth is not in doing, it is in feeling. What you feel now determines what you experience later. If you wait for money to show up before you allow yourself to feel abundant, you are reversing the process. You are saying to life, I will feel wealthy once I have wealth, but life only reflects back what you assume to be true. If you feel lack, if you feel stress, if you feel uncertainty, then that is what will continue to manifest in your world. But when you shift your feelings, when you step into the sensation of already having, already being, already experiencing financial ease, everything begins to change. Reality reshapes itself to match your inner state. This is not a trick, nor is it wishful thinking. It is the fundamental way in which your world operates. Think of a time when you felt truly secure, even if just for a moment. Maybe you received an unexpected sum of money, and for a brief period, you felt relief. Maybe you completed a task successfully and felt the confidence of knowing you were capable. Maybe you imagined a future where everything worked out and you felt the warmth of that possibility. That feeling, security, ease, confidence, is the key. The money itself is not the goal. The goal is the state of being that money represents to you. It is never about the numbers in your bank account. It is about how those numbers make you feel. So why wait? Why postpone the feeling of financial security when you can feel it right now? The moment you choose to feel wealthy without any external validation, you activate a new reality. You signal to life that this is your state of being, and life has no choice but to conform. This is why so many who chase money never seem to catch it. They move from a state of lack, of desperation, of anxiety, and all they do is reinforce those feelings. They push harder, struggle more, try every strategy, yet their reality does not shift. Because internally, they still feel like they are lacking. Try a different approach. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as already wealthy, not in the distant future, not as a possibility, but as your current truth. What does it feel like to wake up in complete financial security? How does it feel to know that money is always flowing to you? Experience the lightness, the relaxation, the quiet confidence of a person who no longer worries about finances. Let that feeling sink into you. Carry it with you throughout the day. When doubts arise, remind yourself that your state of being creates your reality. If you can feel it now, it must materialize. It is law. This is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about shifting your awareness to a higher truth. The truth that abundance is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting for you to claim it. Look around at those who naturally attract money. They do not chase it. They do not beg for it. They move with a quiet certainty, a knowing that it is already theirs. They expect financial ease, and so they experience financial ease. Do not seek money. Seek the feeling that money represents. Once you embody that feeling, money will follow. This is the law, and it does not fail. Many people unknowingly push wealth away because they carry fear and guilt about money. They have been conditioned to believe that money is evil, that desiring abundance is selfish, or that wealth is only for a select few. These beliefs are deeply ingrained, often passed down through generations, and they create an invisible barrier between them and financial freedom. But money itself is not good or bad, it is neutral, an energy that flows in response to your beliefs and assumptions. Just as the ocean does not judge the waves that rise and fall, money does not discriminate. It simply moves toward those who are open to receiving it. If you hold fear around money, if you believe that wealth will corrupt you or make you less spiritual, you will unconsciously resist it. You may desire more, but at the same time you will push it away, creating a cycle of struggle. You may sabotage opportunities, reject financial blessings, or feel undeserving of abundance, all because deep down you associate money with something negative. Let go of these false ideas. Wealth is not a sign of greed, it is a sign of expansion. The more you have, the more you can give, the more freedom you experience, and the greater your ability to create, support, and uplift others. Money is not something to fear, it is something to accept as a natural part of life. Look at nature, there is no limitation, no withholding. The trees do not struggle to grow, the rivers do not beg to flow, the sun does not hesitate to shine. Abundance is everywhere, constantly expressing itself. You too are part of this divine abundance. The same energy that sustains the universe is flowing through you, and money is simply one of its many forms. If you have been conditioned to feel guilty about money, recognize that this guilt serves no one. Rejecting wealth does not help the poor, and struggling financially does not make you more virtuous. The belief that suffering is noble is one of the greatest illusions. There is nothing noble about lack. True virtue lies in understanding that you are meant to thrive, to flourish, to experience the fullness of life. Wealth is not reserved for a chosen few. It is available to all who align with it, all who release the false beliefs that keep it at a distance. The moment you let go of guilt, the moment you see money as an extension of the divine flow, it will begin to move toward you effortlessly. This is why those who feel comfortable with wealth tend to attract more of it. They do not carry guilt, they do not question whether they deserve it, they simply accept it as a natural part of life. They do not apologize for their success, nor do they feel the need to justify their financial blessings. They understand that money is meant to circulate, to be used, to create, to expand. You must do the same. Release any lingering fear, any hesitation, any belief that wealth is out of reach. Know that you are worthy of abundance, not because of anything you have done, but because it is your natural state. Just as you do not need to earn the right to breathe, you do not need to prove yourself to receive financial blessings. You are already enough. Allow money to flow to you without resistance. Instead of feeling guilt when you receive, feel gratitude. Instead of fearing what wealth will do to you, trust that you will use it wisely. Instead of believing that there is not enough for everyone, recognize that abundance is limitless. When you let go of fear and guilt, you make room for wealth to enter your life. You no longer block its flow with limiting beliefs. You no longer sabotage your own success. And you no longer carry unnecessary burdens. Money is not something you must chase, nor is it something you must suffer for. It is an extension of divine abundance, meant to move through you freely. Accept it without guilt. Welcome it without hesitation. and watch as your reality transforms. The truth about wealth has always been simple. It is not something you must struggle for, nor is it something to fear. Money is a reflection of your inner state, a natural extension of divine abundance that is meant to flow effortlessly into your life. When you detach from the struggle mindset, when you shift your identity to that of a person who naturally attracts wealth, and when you feel abundance before it appears, you align yourself with the reality you desire. Let go of the old beliefs that have kept you in lack. Stop seeing money as something outside of you, something difficult to attain. Instead, recognize that wealth is already yours, in consciousness, and as you claim it internally, it must manifest externally. There is no need for guilt, no need for fear. Money is not evil, nor does it belong only to a select few. It is simply a tool, a means through which you can experience greater freedom, joy, and expansion. Accept it with gratitude, welcome it without hesitation, and trust that as you change within, your financial reality will transform. You are already wealthy the moment you decide to be. Live from that knowing, and the world will reflect it back to you. Thank you. Right now, I ask you, what do you want? Is it love, success, wealth, health? It does not matter, for all things are possible when you learn to feel. The moment you allow yourself to step into the reality of your wish fulfilled, the unseen forces move to bring it into form. You do not need permission from the world. You do not need to beg, to struggle, to chase. You only need to shift within, to accept without resistance that your desire is already yours. Tonight, before you sleep, I ask you to do this. Enter that drowsy state, that quiet moment before dreams take over, and imagine yourself living the life you desire. But do not just see it. Feel it. Feel the warmth of love if you seek companionship. Feel the joy of success if you desire wealth. Feel the ease of health if you long for healing. Hold on to that feeling until it becomes natural, until it feels like home. And then release it. Walk in faith. Do not search for signs. The world must follow what you have already accepted as true. There is a hidden force within you, one that has been overlooked, dismissed, and misunderstood. It is not found in effort, struggle, or force. Yet it has the power to shape your reality, to turn your desires into tangible experiences. This force is feeling. You have been taught to believe that hard work, persistence, and external actions are the primary tools for success. You have been told that if you want something, you must chase it relentlessly, work tirelessly, and fight against the odds. But what if I told you that the secret is not in effort, but in knowing, in assuming, in feeling your desire is already fulfilled? This is the key that unlocks the unseen and brings it into form. Think of the one thing you truly desire. Perhaps it is financial abundance, a loving relationship, vibrant health, or success in a chosen field. Whatever it may be, notice how your mind instinctively calculates how it will come, how long it will take, or whether it is even possible. This is the conditioning of the physical world, a world that demands proof before belief. But creation does not work this way. The truth is the reverse. Believe first, and the proof will follow. Everything you have in your life right now is a reflection of past assumptions and dominant feelings. You did not consciously struggle for every single thing you possess. Much of it came naturally because at some level you felt it was yours. The house you live in, the people you interact with, the circumstances you find yourself in. All of it was once an invisible feeling, a silent assumption, a state you occupied within before it materialized within. The mistake many make is trying to force a new reality while still feeling lack, doubt, or desperation. They visualize wealth while feeling poor. They affirm love while feeling lonely. They work hard but carry the underlying belief that success is difficult. This contradiction keeps them stuck, for it is not the thought alone that manifests, but the feeling behind it. Feeling is the substance of creation. It is the energy that molds reality. You must learn to assume the feeling of already having what you desire. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself living in the fullness of your wish fulfilled, do not merely see it, feel it. Feel the peace of abundance, the security of success, the joy of love. Let it sink into your being until it feels natural, until it no longer feels like a dream but a memory. This is not daydreaming, this is creation. The moment you accept a feeling as true, reality begins shifting to match it. You may not see changes immediately, but the unseen forces are already at work. Stay faithful to this new feeling. Walk in it, speak from it, and most importantly, rest in it. Do not let the outer world deceive you. Circumstances do not matter, only your inner state does. If you persist in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world must conform. It has no choice. For feeling is the secret, and what you feel, you become. Your imagination is the foundation of your reality. Everything you see, touch, and experience in the physical world first existed in the unseen realm of thought. Every great invention, every towering skyscraper, every work of art, and every success story began as an idea, an image held in the mind. But it is not merely thinking or wishing that brings these things to life. It is the assumption that they are real, the feeling of their truth, that causes them to manifest. Your imagination is not a place of idle fantasy. It is the workshop of creation. The reality you live in today is the direct result of what you have imagined and accepted as true in the past. Whether you were aware of it or not, your dominant assumptions shape the course of your life. The relationships you have, the money in your account, the opportunities before you, all of it is a reflection of your inner world. If you wish to change what you see, you must first change what you imagine and feel to be real. Many people believe they are victims of circumstances, but nothing in your external world has power over you unless you accept it as true. The outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your internal state. If you persist in the assumption of lack, struggle, or rejection, your world must mirror that experience. But if you dare to assume and feel the reality of abundance, ease, and love, then your world must shift to reflect that new assumption. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is not enough to merely think about what you want, you must feel it as if it were already yours. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to emotion, to the depth of conviction behind the thought. If you imagine yourself wealthy, while secretly feeling poor, your dominant feeling will win. But if you assume the feeling of wealth, of security, of financial ease, even before a single dollar appears, the world must rearrange itself to make that assumption real. Your imagination is limitless, and so are the possibilities before you. Nothing is too big, too difficult, or too far beyond reach. The only limits that exist are those you place on yourself through doubt and disbelief. The moment you release these limitations and dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world begins to shift. People, events, and opportunities move in ways you could not have predicted. Paths open where there were none before. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The key is persistence. You must remain faithful to your inner vision regardless of what the outer world shows you. Do not be deceived by temporary appearances. The delay between assumption and manifestation is only an illusion meant to test your faith. If you continue to live in the feeling of your desire, without wavering, without doubting, then what you have imagined will harden into fact. Everything begins within. Your imagination creates your reality, and feeling is the force that brings it to life. Assume the best, feel it as real, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. The world you see around you is not as solid or fixed as it seems. Everything that appears in your reality is merely a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Your senses tell you that circumstances are real, that what is in front of you is all there is. But this is an illusion. The physical world is not the cause of your experiences, it is the effect. The cause is within you. Most people live as though the outside world has power over them. They react to what they see, hear, and feel, believing that circumstances dictate their emotions, their actions, and their possibilities. If they see lack, they believe in lack. If they experience rejection, they assume they are unworthy. They allow what appears now to determine what they will continue to experience. But if you live this way, you are merely chasing shadows. You are allowing the past to repeat itself because you are holding on to what your senses tell you is true. If you wish to change your reality, you must first detach from what your senses report. Do not let the external world define you. It is not permanent. It is not unchangeable. It is simply a reflection of what you once assumed to be true. To create something new, you must turn your attention inward and shift your inner state. You must feel differently first, before the world can reflect it back to you. Think of a mirror. If you frown into it, it does not smile back at you. The image only changes when you change. Reality works the same way. If you feel poor, neglected, or unworthy, the world will continue to reflect that back to you. But if you assume a new feeling, if you persist in the belief that you are abundant, loved, and successful, the mirror must change. It has no choice. The world is only responding to what you assume to be true. This is why detachment is essential. If you remain emotionally tied to what your senses show you, you will keep reinforcing the same reality. You must rise above appearances and live from a deeper knowing. The knowing that what you feel within now is what will soon become real in the world outside. Ignore the current circumstances if they do not align with your desires. They are nothing more than echoes of old beliefs. They are not permanent, they are not final. Does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or withdrawing from life. It means refusing to be controlled by the illusion of lack, failure, or limitation. It means choosing your inner state rather than letting the world choose it for you. When you master this, you become free. You no longer react to life, you create it. Your only job is to hold on to the feeling of what you desire as if it is already true. The world will catch up. It must. The unseen always precedes the seen. Change how you feel and reality will follow. Let go of doubt, stop reacting, and trust in the unseen power within you. Your world will transform before your eyes. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to wish, to hope, or to look outside of yourself for signs that your desire is coming. If you truly understood the power within you, you would know that desire itself is proof of its fulfillment. The moment you desire something, it already exists in an unseen reality. Your only task is to dwell in the end, to assume and feel that it is already yours. Most people live in a state of waiting. They hope, they long, they wish for a future in which their dreams will come true. But in doing so, they keep their desire in the future always just out of reach. They send signals to their subconscious mind that they do not have what they want. And so the world reflects that lack. The secret is not in waiting, but in assuming, in stepping into the state of already having it. Right now, think of your deepest desire. Instead of seeing it as something separate from you, something you must chase or work for, imagine it as already fulfilled. How would you feel if you had it right now? How would you move, speak, and think if it were already done? Let that feeling consume you. Let it become your natural state. The more you dwell in this feeling, the more real it becomes, until the world has no choice but to conform. You do not need to know how your desire will manifest. That is not your concern. The world will rearrange itself in ways you cannot predict. Opportunities will arise, circumstances will shift, and people will play their part, all aligning to bring your assumption into reality. But you must remain faithful to the end result. You must persist in the feeling of fulfillment, regardless of what the outer world currently shows you. This is where many people fail. They begin to assume, to feel the reality of their wish, but then they look around and see no immediate change. Doubt creeps in. They check for signs, they question whether it is working, and they slip back into their old state of longing. This wavering undoes their work. To manifest what you desire, you must remain unmoved by appearances. You must trust that what you have assumed is already in motion, even if there is no visible evidence yet. Think of planting a seed. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process, knowing that beneath the surface, unseen forces are at work. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them to be true, your only job is to live in that state, to think, feel, and act as though it is already done. This is the secret of effortless creation. When you stop trying to make things happen and instead dwell in the end, reality bends to match your inner world. What once seemed impossible will unfold naturally, without force or struggle. Simply be the person who already has what they desire, and the world will reflect it. It is law. Every night, as you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you stand at the doorway of creation. In this drowsy, relaxed state, your conscious mind fades and your subconscious becomes highly impressionable. It no longer argues, doubts, or questions. It simply accepts. This is the most powerful moment to reshape your reality, to implant the feeling of your wish fulfilled so deeply that it must manifest in the world around you. Most people go to sleep in a state of worry, regret, or frustration. They replay the troubles of the day, dwell on their struggles, and unknowingly impress these negative feelings upon their subconscious. The next day, they wake up to more of the same circumstances because they have unknowingly recreated them in their sleep. But you can use this time differently. You can enter the state of the wish fulfilled and allow your subconscious to make it real. Before sleep, let go of the outer world. Do not concern yourself with what is happening, what has happened, or what may come. None of that matters. All that matters is the reality you are about to create within. Close your eyes, relax your body, and enter a state of calm. Feel the heaviness of sleep approaching, but remain aware enough to direct your thoughts. This is the perfect moment to assume the feeling of your desire already being yours. See yourself in the life you want, not as an observer but as a participant. If your desire is love, feel the warmth of it surrounding you. If it is success, hear the words of praise spoken to you. If it is abundance, sense the security and ease of having more than enough. Make the scene as vivid as possible, but more importantly, let it be natural. Do not force it. Let it unfold effortlessly, as though you are recalling a memory rather than creating a fantasy. The key is not just to visualize, but to feel. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. If you simply watch images in your mind without emotion, you are only daydreaming. But the moment you attach a deep, genuine feeling to the scene, as though it is happening now, your subconscious accepts it as truth. And what the subconscious accepts as true, it must bring to life. Persist in this feeling until sleep takes over. Let yourself drift off in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. This is not a time to think about how it will happen or to question whether it is working. This is a time to surrender to the feeling of already having what you want. By doing this, you impress your subconscious with the new reality, and it will work tirelessly to manifest it in ways beyond your comprehension. When you wake, resist the urge to doubt. Do not look at the outer world for immediate proof. Simply trust that the seed has been planted and allow it to unfold. The world you wake up to will soon begin to change, aligning itself with the assumption you fell asleep in. This is the secret of effortless creation. If you sleep each night in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the day will come when you no longer have to imagine it, because it will be your reality. Faith is not hoping, wishing, or waiting for proof. Faith is feeling, a deep inner knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. The world may show you nothing yet. There may be no physical evidence. But the moment you feel something as real within, it has already begun to materialize. Most people believe only in what they can see, hear, or touch. They wait for confirmation from the outside world before they allow themselves to believe. But this is not faith. Faith does not require proof. Faith is the ability to feel something into being, to trust in the unseen so completely that it must appear in the seen. Right now, whatever you desire, whether it is love, success, wealth, or healing, exists as a possibility. It is not separate from you. The only thing keeping it at a distance is your belief that it is not yet real. But the moment you accept it within, the moment you feel its reality before seeing it, the process of manifestation begins. Your subconscious takes that feeling as truth, and the world around you starts to shift to reflect it. Most people sabotage their own desires by looking for evidence too soon. They assume their wish fulfilled for a moment, then immediately check their surroundings to see if anything has changed. When they see the same circumstances, they doubt, they question, and they fall back into their old state of lack. This wavering cancels out their assumption. You must persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what the physical world shows you. Think of a seed planted in the soil. The moment you plant it, the process of growth has already begun, even though you cannot see it yet. If you keep digging it up to check if it is growing, you will only delay its progress. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them as real within, leave them undisturbed. Trust that the unseen forces are working to bring them into form. Feeling is the secret ingredient. It is not enough to simply say, "I believe." You must feel the reality of your desire. If you desire love, feel the warmth and joy of being in that loving relationship now. If you desire success, feel the confidence, the satisfaction, the ease of already being successful. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel this way. Feel it now, and the world will follow. Faith is not passive, it is an active state of being. It is living as though your desire is already a fact, speaking as though it is done, walking as though you are the person who already has it. When you truly embody this feeling, you will no longer need proof, because you know it is done. And once you know it is done within, it must become done without. This is the great mystery of creation. The world does not shape your belief. Your belief shapes the world. Change your inner feeling, hold firm in your faith, and reality will bend to match it. Everything you seek, love, success, abundance, or peace, begins within you. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. When you learn to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to trust in the unseen, and to persist in that inner knowing, you become the master of your reality. There is no need to struggle, chase, or doubt. Simply feel it as real, and the world will rearrange itself to match your assumption. And do not be deceived by what your senses show you today. The circumstances you see are only the echoes of past thoughts and beliefs. But you are not bound by them. At any moment, you can step into a new state of being, a new assumption, and watch as your world transforms before you. The key is faith, not blind hope, but the deep, unwavering feeling that it is already done. If you can fall asleep in the state of your fulfilled desire, if you can carry that knowing throughout your day, and if you can trust that the unseen is more real than the seen, then nothing will be impossible for you. You are the creator of your reality. Feel it, believe it, and it must be so. Thank you.